YouTube family, what's good, what's good? So I was making my rounds around the internet today, and of course stumbled upon YouTube again, and a couple of things hit me, right? One of them is the situation where you had the gentleman that had his issue at the bodega with a unfortunate young man that lost his life. I'm not going to go over too much of the stories, but I'm just going to hit some highlights. So a lady went to the bodega with her little girl, her daughter, and tried to purchase a bag of chips, and she couldn't purchase the bag of chips. There are a lot of different stories, as she didn't have any money. She tried to use her EBT card. That's the the EBT card. She tried to use that thing to get the chips, and it kept getting declined. And the gentleman behind the counter, which was one Mr. Jose Alba, he, just told her, hey man, your card's getting declined. And so the lady wanted the chips. She didn't get the chips. She was annoyed. Her daughter, I'm sure, was sad. The man is running a business. He didn't give the little girl the chips. The lady went home upset, complaining, saying that she was going to bring her boyfriend and he was going to handle business. Basically, probably try and do harm to Mr. Alba. Right. Mr. Alba is a 63-year-old man that runs a bodega. Bodegas are those corner stores, right? We call them corner stores in New York, right? And, not typically, but oftentimes run by Hispanic folks, right? Bodega, that's what we call them. And they're cool. I like them. Anytime you need something like a hero, which is them big old sandwiches with, Swiss cheese, ham, stuff like that, all the good stuff. I don't eat pork no more, but it's loaded with goodness and good stuff. So if you're from New York, you know what a bodega is. If you're from Chi-Town, you know what they are. This old man, 63 years old, is running a bodega. And he's having a hard enough time, I'm sure, as it is with COVID, the economy, and everything else. Now to have this young man stumble upon him and try to do him bodily harm. What you see up on the screen right now is a quote from Genesis. Actually, it's from the book of Exodus, and it says, "Honor your father and your mother, so that your days may be long in the land that your Lord, your God, is giving you." All right? Whether you believe in God or you read the Bible or not, these words ring true. They do to me, and they should to you, right? Especially if you're a parent. Especially if you're guiding or if you're a guardian and you're guiding someone to ultimate greatness, someone young, right? You want them to live this example. You want them to honor their mother and their father, honor their guardians, right? Be respectful to those that have come before you, right? Show a little bit of respect, show some class for the old folks. So that you can gain wisdom, so that your days will be long in this land. All right, now let's switch over. This right here is the young man that attacked, I don't know his name, I'm not trying to dig that deep, but this is the young man that attacked Jose Alba, right? 63-year-old man running the bodega. He attacked him, he went in there, giving this man static, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Right there is the scene of one still image of the incident. This is prior to him pushing and attacking Mr. Alba, I believe. And Mr. Alba is the man on the right, and the gentleman on the left is the one, obviously, that did the attacking. His girlfriend sicked him on Mr. Alba, and Mr. Alba made him pay the ultimate price. There goes Mr. Alba. After the attack, he was stabbed by the man's girlfriend too. Right there are my parents, right? That's me in the middle. Those are my parents, my mom on the left, my dad on the right. Right before going off to do a little bit of work. So obviously 43 years old, and I've got a very good relationship with my parents. I'm fortunate in that sense, I think. They've been married for 52 years now, and their love is still kicking and going strong. I know my dad gets on my mom's nerves sometimes, and It's not like my mom gets on my dad's nerves or anything like that, but they love each other very much. They've also been very good role models to me. And so I feel strongly about this situation that went down in New York City a couple of weeks back, where Mr. Alba here had to do what he did to the young man and end his life. But it's unfortunate because this young man here was messing with the wrong dude. Man, you can't go in a bodega, New York City, you know these times are hot, and just go messing with people, man. You can't do that with these old folks. You shouldn't be doing that with anybody. But I mean, the man is 63 years old. You're gonna come in there because your girlfriend wants to egg you on, rile you up. And what did the old man do? What did the old man do? He just said no for a bag of chips to a little girl that was probably hungry. Man, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's going through your head to be going to a man's place of business, a grown man at that, and messing with him. What could be going through your mind to go attacking old folks? Like, how far gone are we as a society for our young people to be attacking men like that, right? This is just, I don't know these two from Adam, right? But Mr. Alba is a 63-year-old man. That 63-year-old man could have been one of my uncles. That could have been my dad or my mom, right? It could have been a friend of mine. It could have been anyone that I love that's being bothered by this young man right here, right? Because he fails to follow simple guidelines like this, to honor your father and your mother. And it goes beyond honoring your father and your mother, your mother. It also means respect the elderly, respect people, respect those that have gone before you, so that you can gain the wisdom to live a little bit longer. Now, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, right? There have been some folks that I've disrespected in my time here on this earth, right? That were older than me, but it's not something that I take pride in, right? I try to check myself before I do something like that, right? Because my thing is this: these grown folks are grandparents, these grown folks are parents, brothers, sisters, and no one's perfect, right? I'm not saying that they're perfect and that they didn't deserve it or whatever, but I'm saying that first and foremost, I have to respect my elders. I don't think there's anything wrong in respecting your elders. You know, I think that this is one of those things in our society that has gotten us in the bind that we're in now. If you look at America as a whole, right? The country's what, 200 some odd years old? Almost 300 years old. But then you look at the countries around America, and they're old as hell, right? They're old as hell. Some of them still have a monarchy, some of their ways of government, some of these continents, they do their own thing, but one thing that's consistent with them is that they've got a history, an extensive history that goes back for thousands of years, right? And America's the new kid on the block trying to tell everybody how they need to do and conduct business. I think that's a little arrogant. And I think that's trickled down into a lot of our society, in that we treat our old folks the same way our country tends to treat a lot of these other countries that have been around the block a lot more than we have. Excuse me for that. Yeah. So I'm saying that to say it's unfortunate that the young man lost his life, but maybe if he showed a little bit of character, he sat down with his girlfriend and explained to her, hey, listen, this old man is running the business. If he was a behind to you, let me go talk to him. Go to the old man, see his side of the story, talk to him, and then, say, hey, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry for that exchange from my girlfriend. That's how men do it. You shouldn't go there with the high emotion from your girlfriend, getting you riled up, and do things that men don't normally do. If you're gonna handle business, you're gonna have to talk with the person, have a dialogue with them. I'm sure Mr. Alba's a reasonable dude, but then he got unreasonable and he ended your life. I'm not saying that it's right, but I don't think that Mr. Alba's wrong either. A lot of people don't agree with that. And a lot of people are saying the whole black-white thing, oh, it's because he's black, it's because this and that. I mean, there's a time to use it's because he's black, and then there's a time to not use it's because he's black. This is one of those instances that you can't use it's because he's black. No, it's because he's disrespectful. That's why he got killed. He attacked an old man. That could have been your father, your mother, somebody else behind that counter, and things could have been very different if Mr. Alba didn't have that knife to shank that dude. Things could have been very different. Now, you shouldn't even care about everyone else's reaction. And I'm happy that this old man is no longer in jail. But at the same time, we need to start telling our kids and teaching our kids, right? So that they can live a long life. We need to start teaching them to respect themselves. Respect yourself. Respect those that have gone before you. Respect your elders. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being a coward. You're not being a fool for doing anything like this. This is just showing some humility, right? This is the proper way of things. Man, have you ever looked at an old person and thought to yourself, what has this person seen in their life, right? All the craziness that they've seen. You know, when I talk to my parents, I just find it amazing that they've lived through some of the craziest times that I'll never see, right? The civil rights era and all that craziness. Jim Crow laws and all that craziness of the 50s and the 60s and all that. And before that, right? My parents coming from a foreign country here and having to deal with the racism. It's crazy the things that they had to deal with, but they dealt with it nonetheless. And they're here. And they taught my brothers and I well, I feel. They did a great and a fantastic job to where now I learned from them to respect my elders. First and foremost, you respect your elders, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You don't call them Joe, Fred, or Dave. No, you call them Mr. whatever, Ms. whatever, or Mrs. whatever, or ma'am, right? My ex-wife, her mother, I never called her by her first name because I had respect for her. And my ex-wife didn't like that I didn't call her by her first name. And I told my ex-wife, you don't call my parents by their first name. No, Mr. and Mrs. so-and-so. And my ex-wife's mom, Ms. so-and-so, right? Mrs. so-and-so. So I never, ever, ever disrespect old folks. And it went as far as my ex-wife. Me and my ex-wife, we don't get along, but it doesn't matter. I'm not ever gonna disrespect her mother. I'm not ever gonna disrespect her father. You know what I'm saying? Just show some respect to the grown folks, man, so that you can live a long life. This man could have been alive to this day if he didn't take that damn woman's advice and go bother that old man, Mr. Alba. I feel bad for Mr. Alba, man. He's probably, a grandpa, probably a great grandpa. I don't know. He's probably got kids. He's just trying to make his money, man, like everybody else. He's making his money the honest way, yo. One of the best ways, man. You got your business going. You got your business is probably popping in New York because everybody's at a bodega, right? Everybody's buying chips, their quarter waters and stuff like that, having a good time, right? He's doing these things. He's living the American dream. Why can't we just let this man live, yo? Just, if you don't like what he did, then don't go to his business. Don't mess with the man, yo. He didn't do nothing to you. I think he did what he needed to do. He needed to protect himself. He needed to protect himself, his business, right? His family and stuff. This young kid, man, going in there and just bothering this old man. It's not fair, man. It's not right. What if the situation was flipped and he killed Mr. Alba because Mr. Alba refused to act? Then what would we be saying, right? Is it a race issue now? Damn, man, seriously, every once in a while, the race, I understand race, yes. Race does play a factor in a lot of things, I get it. But in this one, no, you can't say race, man. Yo, take everybody else out this shit. You can't say race. You can't, you really can't. I wish there was somewhere I could defend this young man because he lost his life and that sucks. Now the child is gonna grow up without a father, right? Or a father figure to help rear her, right? But That's unfortunate because this man chose violence and he got what he was asking for. It's just unfortunate, and it just so happens that he's also black. So black folks are sitting there, not all black folks, but a lot of us are just sitting there kind of defending him, and I'm like, no, you can't run up in a man's store and fuck with his business. You're fucking with his money, and you're fucking with his life at the same time. Yes, Mr. Alba did the right thing. Yes, he is the victim over here. He got stabbed by his girlfriend too. His girlfriend stabbed him, and yet she's not in jail. She's not seeing charges. Nobody's talking about that, right? Think about these things, man. What if this was your mother? What if this was your father? Honor your father and your mother, right? That you can live a long time. Don't we all want to live a long time? I know I do. I know I want my kids, I want my daughters to live a long time, so I do my best. I treat them, or I want them to grow up with knowledge. I want them to grow up with the good knowledge of respecting themselves and respecting older folks. You know what I'm saying? Respect those that have gone before you, because you don't know the shit that they've seen. We don't know what's going through their head, right? And one day, hopefully, we'll all be old, and we all want that same measure of respect that we've given to the old folks. Do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead, do that, man, so that you can get that same measure of respect. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, let me know what y'all think. I love y'all. Peace.